After this one, we'll be halfway done.
Yeah. Halfway done.
This is Libby Road and the Sound Epistemology Podcast. On this episode, Rupert and I are faced with number 12, and this brings us halfway through the Street Epistemology Survey, the survey that encourages us to better understand our relationship with truth. And although some elements of SE are used in this series of discussions between us, the objective is to gain understanding of each other and ourselves. Number 12 explores how reliable our feelings are when it comes to arriving at truth, and you may notice how easy it might be to wander into other ideas about the value of feelings. Let's cut into it. Feelings are a reliable way to discover truth. You're neutral, and I strongly disagree.
Yeah, I can imagine that you strongly disagree. I'm neutral because I think they're a helpful way to discover. I mean, they're the only way to discover your relationship to what's happening, the truth.
Mm-hmm. Your relationship with the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm interested in what is true, not my relationship with it. In this arena.
Mm-hmm. But again, I think I'm neutral because I'm for and I'm against the notion that you could use your feelings to guide you towards what's true and what's false. That on some level, and if I go right at neutral, right in the middle, with that 1 degree to agree, 1 degree to disagree, that on a subtle level, that your feelings do have the ability to point you towards the truth and point you away from false things. But I think it takes some practice with listening to what's happening with your feelings, to really observing the sensations that are happening, not just how you feed them with your thoughts and how you don't feed them when you stop the thoughts or allow space for the thoughts without engaging in them, but to really be able to observe and note and identify what sensations are happening and the subtle differences between them.
Is this another example of an achievement that you're working towards that you think will give you a better way of using your feelings to get to truth, and you haven't yet? Is that kind of one of those examples, or are you already there where you have the ability to use your feelings to access truth?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's, or maybe I'm wrong, actually, no. I was going to say I don't think anyone's ever reached a level of being able to listen to their feelings and develop that capacity in such a way that they can identify truth from false using just that as a metric.
Okay, but you're neutral about it.
But I'm neutral about it because I believe, as I say it out loud, I think, I bet that's been achieved. I bet that's achievable. I would propose that for me it would be one metric. It would be one way, it would be one experiment that could be done.
Is it reliable, though? Are feelings reliable? Are your feelings reliable to inform you about whether something is true or not true?
Yeah, I think they are. I think my ability to interpret, my ability to, I think of like emotional literacy.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you'd have asked me 10 years ago, what are you feeling right now? My emotional literacy would have been low. I do not think I would have been able to have a conversation with you that actually matched what actually was happening to me. I don't think I would have had enough practice feeling the emotions and then identifying this is what that is that I'm feeling right now. Now I am far better at that than I ever was, and I get better every day. I have a stronger vocabulary with which to be emotionally literate each day.
And that helps you use feelings to determine if something is objectively true or not true.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fair to say it compares it to the objective truth. I think again it compares it to the relationship with the truth, which I realize you're saying that's not what you're interested in. You're interested in the objective truth.
Right. Whether something's true or not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a relationship I have with the feeling that it gives me if it's true or not true.
Right. Yeah, and that is a distinction that's fair to make and important to make, because I think you can get hung up in the wishy-washy and the I think the liberal movement, the green movement has unfortunately erred so far in that direction that it seemed to be easy to dismiss by people that have no interest in that and emotional literacy. It's like our parents' generation. I talked to my father about my feelings. It wasn't a conversation that was going to really happen, as opposed to talking to my mother, where it would happen to a much greater degree. And then I think about her parents to her parents to her parents, and we simply aren't practiced at emotional literacy, but we're very well practiced at being emotional beings.
I see value in being emotionally literate, and to me that means being able to translate from what you're feeling to what is actually happening, and like you said, your relationship with it. I see value in emotions. I don't see a lot of value in feelings, in arriving at conclusions that are objectively true or likely to be objectively true.
Yeah, and I can completely understand why you would say something like that.
That's where you
strongly disagree, right?
I strongly disagree that feelings are a reliable way to discover truth because of all of the evidence that we have.
Well, and how unpracticed we are at reliably knowing what our feelings are at any given time.
Yeah.
I imagine.
I try not to rely on feelings to tell me whether something is objectively true or likely objectively true.
And I am neutral on it because I think it's a metric that shouldn't be thrown out completely. It's certainly not a metric that should be given a lot of weight.
Why not?
Because they're unreliable.
Next question.
Next question. Because of our ability to interpret what we're actually feeling. That's fine.
I think,
I don't think feelings are unreliable. I think our interpretation, our literacy of being able to identify what we're actually feeling is unreliable. Feelings are extremely reliable things. They happen with or without our permission.
Right.
They happen with or without our knowledge. We certainly can influence them with what we're focused on, with our perception and perspective. And so it's so that's unreliable. That's not a reliable set of feelings or relationship with your feelings. But if you can,
when you're trying to figure out if something is true or not. Right.
But if you can untangle all of the things, you can untangle all of these surface level feelings that have been led to by the initial feeling, but unfortunately because of how the initial feeling was interpreted, the discomfort of feeling sad, vulnerable, angry, frustrated, it's led to this other feeling. And so there's a process, I think, as we become adults and become emotionally literate, of really plowing through and untangling all of these superficial feelings to get down to those initial feelings. Those initial feelings are coming from a place of, I don't want to say right or wrong, because I think that's all based on, our position, our beliefs. But yeah, I'm neutral because I think there's a place for them. There's a place for, if we can truly observe what we're feeling, that's where intuition is.
And that helps a little bit with finding out if something's likely objectively true?
Yeah, I think if you're going to have a series of 100 experiments, each worth 1 point, it'd be fair to have this be an experiment that has 1 point. Should you have a good relationship with your feelings? Should you have high emotional literacy? If you don't, then I think throw that one out. Let's just have 99 experiments and not have that one included.
You're saying that there's probably more reliable ways to find out if something's objectively true.
I'm open to that being the case, yeah. And that's why I'm neutral on it, because I feel like it's, even for myself, even with 2 years of practice, I'm neutral. I'm open to using it, and I'm open to, okay, you don't want to use it? All right, we don't use it then. I might still have it might still affect me, probably will affect me, but again, the more I'm emotionally literate, the more I can realize, oh, this is affecting me, and I agreed that this was not going to affect me. Let's come back to these other 99 experiments.
Okay. Yeah, it would take a lot of evidence to convince me that feelings are a reliable way to discover truth.
Have you ever had gut feelings about things?
Yeah, I don't think they're reliable at all.
Have they ever have they ever steered you in the right direction?
Possibly, but not because of the feeling, though. I can have a gut feeling about something being true, and that thing also being true, but the gut feeling is not a reliable way to tell that it's true, is kind of what I'm trying to say. Yeah, people can use gut feelings and be correct.
Yeah.
That kind of goes along with the clock. A broken clock is, can be right twice a day or whatever it is. I tend to use more reliable methods to determine if something's likely objectively true. Feelings that would be one of the last things that I would resort to if I wanted to find out if something is true or not. Let's say we have a 5-pound weight, or let's say we have a weight, and we don't know how much it weighs, but we have this weight that we want to add to our gym machine, and we want to know how much it weighs. I would be more comfortable and be more confident using a scale or a couple of different scales to measure how much it weighs. I would not be very confident in knowing how much it weighs by a gut feeling. Like, I can say, it's my gut feeling that this weight weighs 5 pounds, but I wouldn't be very confident in that. I would rather take it and put it on a scale, and the scale says it weighs 5 pounds, and then I take it off and I put it on this other scale, and that scale also says it weighs 5 pounds. I would be way more confident at that point about it being 5 pounds than relying on my gut feeling about it.
Well, let me ask you this then. If we had 3 scales and 25 people, and each of those ways of measuring took a turn.
Each person was putting it on a scale?
Each person was feeling the weight.
Oh.
And each of these people had varying degrees of practice at weighing, feeling what the weight felt like, and then declaring it, and then measuring it against the 3 scales, or maybe their practice is measuring it against 5 scales to really see how accurate they are. But my question is if out of these 25 people...
A hypothetical,
if you will. I was trying to see how I could skillfully throw a hypothetical at you without you catching it, and obviously I couldn't, because the nature of hypotheticals.
Yeah.
But hypothetically, if we had a couple people who every time we put it on the scales, and these scales are balanced to each other, and these 2 people
are right on every time.
Right on every time, and then we come to find out, they're champion masters at the weight guess game, and they're so consistent at it. Would that move you from a strongly disagree to a disagree?
Not about feelings. Not about feelings being a reliable way to determine truth.
But feeling the weight. Using their feelings to determine the weight of something. Because this is your example. I'm saying for this example of...
Yeah. If somebody is practiced in determining how much things weigh, and they said, this weighs 5 pounds, and we have all these other examples of evidence of when they've been able to accurately pick something up and tell how much it weighs, that would be enough evidence for me to be pretty confident that whatever they say this weight is, but that's actually experimenting with the weight and all of this other background information that we know. I think what this question or this statement is exploring is, if I feel like a weight is 5 pounds, how reliable is that feeling as a way to discover how much the weight weighs? I don't think that that's a reliable, like, I can feel like it's Sunday today, but that has no bearing on the truth of it being Sunday as we define it. Like feelings, I feel this to be true, doesn't hold a lot of weight for me.
Yeah, not without someone actually having practiced and developed that feeling.
Well, that would be a harder thing to try out. Like, if somebody says that they feel like, at some point in history that the moon was split in 2, that's a little bit different than them having experience picking up weights to the point where they're pretty good at feeling how much a weight is.
But if they're a reliably correct source using their feelings for things through practicing them, it's a pretty unpracticable example, hypothetical you're giving with the moon being split in.
Their experience with weights does not raise my confidence in them being able to feel like the moon was split into 1,000 years ago or whatever. That's 2 different things. That would be, what is that? Like a category error of some kind. You're using 2 different experiments. And so just because somebody is really good at picking up weights and knowing how much those weights weigh,
by feeling
I would not be convinced that they have the same amount of predictable power of using their feelings to feel other things.
Yeah, but the reason I'm neutral is because I think you could develop your feelings to measure any number of things.
Oh, somebody could develop.
Well, we've already discussed that someone could use their feelings to figure out reliably how much something weighs.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely no, mechanism in place other than their feelings and their practice and their experience with it that they've developed up over a period of time.
I guess for me, could be is different than is.
Feelings are reliable. Yeah, the language on the question, feelings are a reliable way to discover truth, is a blanket statement that we can rely on feelings, and I've answered it neutral because I think there's room to develop feelings, to learn how to listen to your feelings a little bit better, to a point of reliability. And maybe I've answered a question that isn't there.
Well, I mean, it's still interesting to discuss it. Yeah.
But I maintain that I'm neutral about it.
Cool.
Yeah.